Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and I'm really excited to share with you what's so cool about Savannah Park. It is a tile arranging game for 1 to 4 players, and there are several variants that will keep this game fresh, but the best thing about this game is how straightforward the rules are, but how complex the scoring is, and that's what makes this a really delightful puzzle game. One of the things that makes Savannah Park so easy to pack and unpack and share with other people is, first off, there are 4 boxes in the box, and they are essentially packed with all of your hexes for your player color. So you'll not only take your box and then find all your hexes, you're going to discover you have a little person. You're going to have a little meerkat, and you'll also have a lion token. Now I've got this guy sitting off to the side because he's a variant, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. The other thing is you're going to take your player board, and the player board is double-sided, which is great because that's one of the variants for the game, is to turn it over to the more open side, kind of like Azul has 2 sides. One side kind of shows you where everything is and keeps you kind of in line when it comes to these trees, the fire bushes, and then the rocks. When you flip it over, some of your player tiles allow you to place that where you want, so you can kind of make a design, which is great once you've already learned the game. But this is the side that you're going to start on. And you're just going to put all of your animal hexes out here in the open spaces. And then you're going to find 2 that you have left over that you have to place over this little grass. And grass and trees are going to be worth points at the end of the game if they are not covered up. So that's one incentive to not place on your grass for 1 point or your trees for 3 points. Now, what's going to happen is players will play simultaneously, and I love that. It is such a fast game, and it goes as fast as your players really want to select the tile that they want to place. And you will just throw all these out here, and everyone's board is going to be different. You'll see that animals have watering holes sometimes. There are numerous amounts of animals. There's going to be, that's it. Just like a bunch of animals, a couple animals, watering holes, that's it. And they're going to be out here. And it doesn't matter where you put them because you are going to move them during the game. I'll be the start player, and just to make it a little fun, I've got one of the other player's tokens right here, and I'm just gonna like reach in and mix around and just like pick one for when my opponents go. But the great thing is, you pick one tile and announce to everybody, here's the tile. So let's say I want to pick up this antelope with a watering hole. I pick it up and I place my meerkat down in the space where the tile came from, because you cannot place the tile you just picked and put back on the same spot. This tile has to move to another location. And you are not allowed to place on these spaces right here, which is your single fire up here, your double fire, your triple fire, or your rocks. That's the only places where you can't put anything. So I take this guy and I'm going to flip him over to my color side, and this is going to say, I have now placed this forever, and I will not move it. And when every single tile has been flipped over and placed in a different space, that's the end of the game. So I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to say, where do I want to put him? I want to put him in a space where maybe it doesn't touch any other antelope, because where your tiles are now is not where they're going to end up. So you're going to want to move them. And a watering hole is super valuable because those are the multipliers. So at the end of the game, you are going to count the contiguous largest group of animals of each type, and you're going to multiply them times the watering holes that they actively are at, meaning in the tile. And there's another one where you share. There's my antelope up here. He shares with the zebra and the ostrich. And then there's one where all 6 of the animals share in that massive watering hole. So you can have up to a 3 times multiplier, and there are 11 animal images spread out throughout the board. So that was my turn. I'm going to take my meerkat, pop him back up in my meerkat space. This space is now free. That's pretty cool. Now my opponents are going to go. Now, I don't know what they're going to pick, so I'm just going to kind of stick my hand in here and grab it. Okay. So they picked the zebra watering hole, and you just go clockwise. So I went, now the player to my left is going to go, they're going to pick one, we all play. Then the third person's going to go, they pick one, we all play. And that's how this is going to work. So they picked that zebra and the watering hole. I'm going to set that to the side, find my zebra with the watering hole. As before, place my meerkat. Try not to mess up all of my hexes at once. I'm going to turn him over. And now I'm going to place this guy down in a space. Let's see here. One of the spaces that you probably don't want to place in unless it's just a real mishap is you're going to not want to place a single animal next to the single fire. If at the end of the game you have any animals adjacent to the single fire and they're singles, they burn. They got too close to the fire. Even though there's a watering hole here, this animal's not going to survive that Savannah fire. So I don't want to place them on these trees. Now, they could go on trees. I could put the little zebra right there. That's perfectly fine. 1 next to a 2, he's fine. He's fine, he's fine. Don't worry about that. 1 next to a 3, he's fine. 2 next to a 2, bad. A 3 animal next to a 3 animal, bad. So it's just the number that matches. So I'm going to place this guy right here. And again, that meerkat is so important because if you don't place them there, you will want to put them right back where you took them from. And that's the only real rule in the game, minus not placing on those restricted places. So I'm going to take that off and I'm going to dive in again. Here's my third player. They picked, wow, zebra, zebra, zebra. So I'm going to find my 3 zebra, which is up here. Now, here's where I want to play next to my zebras, and fortunately, I have a space. And if I place my zebras here, did you see me? I just missed. I just broke my cardinal rule. Meerkat, put your meerkat out. So I'm going to put my zebra down on that tree. Now, that means that tree's covered. I'm not going to earn 3 points for that. I've accepted that. You're going to have to place down on trees and shrubs at some point in the game. You want to leave some, but you also know you're going to cover up some. So now I've got my zebras connected to this zebra, so I have 4 zebras times 1. This is a really good start. Now, 3 zebras next to 2 fires, just fine. Not a problem. Those guys are going to be able to withstand the heat. There's no problem there. Okay, now I'm going to go 4th player, because I'm playing a 4-player game. 4th player is going to draw, and they picked, hey, they got an elephant and an antelope. Let's find my elephant and antelope. Where are you? Where are you? Elephant, antelope. Okay. Pick it up, place my meerkat, and now I'm going to turn it over. Now, unfortunately, my antelope with the watering hole has no adjacent space just yet. If I play here, they're going to burn up with the fire, so I don't want to, because you can plan on moving tiles and connecting animals later. They don't have to be immediately adjacent. So I'm going to do this. Maybe I'll place it up here and hope that I can get my elephants nearby. And I could do elephants over here connected to my antelopes over here. You gotta find spaces where you can kind of group your animals because that's how you score. 2 critters next to 1 fire, not a problem. Take this off, and now it's back to me. It's always the most exciting when you get to pick because you know exactly what you need to move. You know what you need to mobilize, and it's just so fun. It kind of reminds me of like the I slice, you pick style, where it's like, okay, I'm picking something, but you also get to have a part in it. You get to have a say of where that tile goes in your personal player board, even though somebody else picks it. And there's nothing better than saying, I would like to move the 3 elephants because I want to clear this space for my antelope and I want to clear it so that I can connect my antelope with my elephants. So you say 3 elephants and then everyone at the table groans. I love that. It is so fun. So I'm going to place my elephants nearby because I want to start connecting my elephants. Having 3 elephants next to 1 fire, that's going to be okay. So I'm going to draw a couple more tiles and then talk to you about that scoring and then some of the variants, because this game goes by so fast and it's really fun because you're all doing it simultaneously. I'm placing my 3 elephants as fast as everyone else at the table, and it just goes by, and it's just so fun. Okay, so I'm going to pick for my player to my left. Ah, they got the 2 ostrich. 2 ostrich. Pick them up, place my meerkat, turn them over. And where do I want to place these ostrich? Oh dear, I have no ostrich started anywhere, and they're really spread out all over the map right now. You know what? I might place them here because they are safe against that 1 fire, and I maybe want to start moving them this way. I don't know. I've got antelopes, I've got elephants, I've got zebras. You see, right? This kind of fits. All right, okay, so now I'm going to do, here goes, person across the table from me. They picked 2 giraffes. 2 giraffes. Where are you 2 giraffes? Aha, here you are. Pick them up, place my meerkat, flip them over. Where are you going to go, giraffes? Where do you want to be? Well, I try not to cover up trees and little sprouts just as easily as possible, because I want to maintain the idea that perhaps I can earn more of these victory points, because every point matters in this game. So I think for now, a safe spot is to go here, knowing that maybe I can grow off into this tree space here, and then move out. Even though this is not good for me with my giraffe, I'll make it work. So now it's going to be the third player. No, 1. I was 1, 2, 3. That's the person across, so it's another one. Aha! Rhinoceros and an ostrich. Rhino ostrich. Wait, where are you, rhino ostrich? Why can't I find my there it is. That's probably the longest part of the game, is trying to find your combination of animals. That's it. So I don't have rhinos. I have some ostrich over here. What do I want to do? Okay, so here's an example of why I want to maybe place on a tree. Because if I place here on this tree, they're safe from the fire because it's a 2 versus a 3 fire. I'm nearby my ostrich. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna just lift it up and put it over here on this tree, because they're still safe from the fire, 2 versus 1, and now my ostrich do touch, and perhaps my rhinos can kind of be over here in this section. Who knows? Okay, I take my little guy off. Now it's back to me and I'm a start player, but I really, really want to make a choice. I want to make my own choice, and I want to place down what I want to place down. And you better believe it's going to be the tile that allows me to connect and make the best of my antelope. I want to lift up this tile, place my meerkat, but I don't need it because I know for a... Oh, that's not a... The ostriches are not... antelope. This one is my antelopes. I'm going to place these guys up here, and I'm going to connect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1 watering hole. And now this space is clear to fix up with all my zebras. Fantastic. So excited. That's it. That's the game. This is it. You just grab a tile, move it, and then you move on. So when you're done, you're going to, this is another player's board, you are going to grab this score sheet. Now, this is, I'm going to take my little guys off of here. This is how you score up the game. So players are going to get their little markers and their little people. They're going to start at the 0, and we are going to go through, now for lack of a marker that I have, I'm just going to use my meerkat. You start here, and you say, okie dokie, anybody have any single animals that got burned up next to the 1 fire, that's the 1 bush fire? If so, you take them off the board, and they're out of the game. You don't get to score them. Plus, if they have a watering hole, or they're connected, they're like the connecting tissue between 2 groups, and it severs it, that really affects your score. So we check for 2 flaming trees, 3 flaming trees. You're going to go around that board. You're going to see, okay, did I have anybody? I talked through mine. I try so hard to not accidentally misplace my figures. Next thing, who has any visible little sprigs? 1 point each. Any visible trees? 3 points each. And then you go through all 6 of the animals. Look for your largest group of giraffes. Count how many watering holes they have in that group. That's going to be your multiplier. Same thing for the elephants, the rhinos, the zebras, the antelope, and your ostrich. At the end, you're just going to see how many points did you earn, and that player is going to win the game. This game is really, really cool. So I want to tell you just a little bit about the lion. This is one of your variants. Now, when you are playing with the lion, they have to start in one of your little sprigs or your tree space. And when you move a tile to that location, you will pick up the lion and score how many animals are on that tile, and then move the lion to any free available space, either just like a plain desert space, a grass space, or a tree space. Now, obviously this guy can't go on the rocks and the flaming trees just like any other tile. But this adds so much strategy, as you can tell. So I know I really need to get, let's say I put him here, and I'm going to put like a really great giraffe piece here. Let's say I want to put these 3 giraffes. I pick them up and I say, boom, I want to place them on that tree right where my lion was. I'm going to score 1, 2, 3 points on that scoring board immediately and move my lion to another space where I just know I'm going to want to place another tile. And it's a way to gain those particular points in game, because there are no points in game in the normal basic version. So that is the lion variant. The other variant is the backside of your board. Now, this is really cool too. These are potential starting for the variant that I'm going to talk about. So you're going to grab your player board, and normally this is the side where you've got all the stuff that's already pre-printed. But you flip it over to this side and you've got your grass sprigs on the edge, and then you've got these tiles that you are going to place that have your trees and then your flaming trees. And you can do it in, these different configurations. So I was playing with the elephant, so my configuration would be this. My opposing player was playing with the rhino. They could play with this different setup. The antelope box is going to play with this one, and the giraffe box that one. So it just gives you something different to play with your map in a different way. It just configures those permanent spaces a little differently than the printed side. And I love that there's a variety in how you can play with the boards. And again, it kind of just reminds me of Azul. And I think that's really cool. I think it's awesome that you can have that. And then I already mentioned that there's like an easier version, and you just don't use multipliers with the water. You just count your biggest section and you say, here's all my giraffes, here's all my rhinos, here's all my antelope. And it just makes it a little bit easier for younger players, because this goes, all the way down to 8. And I imagine an 8-year-old would love this game. First off, the theme is just awesome. But I think that the concept is very straightforward. Pick a tile, put it somewhere else, done. That's it. Now, the one thing I want to say, now this is my biggest complaint, and it's a significant complaint. Whenever you're looking at the tiles that you want to pick from, you have the choice between 3 very, very similar colors, and some of them don't even let you see the watering hole that's underneath it. So, you've got this. Would you like to play with light blue? Would you like to play with a light blue? Would you like to play with dark blue? Or do you want to play with kind of like a brown red? Now, the brown red is this, and I think it's fine. The dark blue works really well, but I played with dark blue and red because these two are almost impossible to play with. The colors are just so similar. And in this one, I think it is, you can't even see the watering holes. Look at this blue. This blue, where's the watering holes? I don't have any watering holes. Oh, here it is. Look, this has a watering hole on it. You can barely see it. Oh, you can see it on the the non-active side, flip it over, where's the watering hole? It absolutely just disappears. So I feel like that there were like 3 colors used. We have 3 different versions of blue. I mean, that has a hint of blue in it. It looks more like light gray. But they just, oh my gosh, you can't even see the watering hole. And I had players that didn't see it and didn't actually use the multiplier for it. So I think that's problematic. You know, the color is super, super important. And I think they could have done something else to make that color way better and to make the color pop. Because that's just the whole point of the game, is being able to see your watering holes. So that's my biggest complaint. These are all just super, super similar in color, and I just wish that they'd done something different with that. I do like all the variants, and I do like that there's another game coming up called Caldera Park, and it's going to be similar to Savannah Park, but just a little bit more advanced. It's going to be just a little bit more complex, but still nice entry-level game. So I am looking forward to that game, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Once I get my hands on it, I'll probably do a video for that, because boy do I like Savannah Park. Just make sure that you take the colors that are really hard to see, and then give your friends, maybe first-time players, the colors that are way easier to see, just because they might struggle with the actual scoring of it because the colors are tough. But other than that, 2 thumbs up, and thank you for joining me in this turn or 2 with the full explanation of the rules, because again, this is a solid game. All right, everybody, I'll see you later.